And welcome back to Game 3 after a blistering first couple of games between Quentin and Ben Heath here in round 5. We're all tied up at 1 game all, and Quentin leading us out.
Yep, Ben's unfortunately mulliganed to 6 in this game. He appears to have had a couple of mulligans in this game, just a couple of problems with it, but
pretty much one of Quentin's best ways of getting to victory.
Pretty much here, although being on the play does help him a huge amount because it does allow him to get to his planeswalkers before Ben can do anything particularly nasty to him. Makes Knight of Infamy there, and coming across with the Exalted Trigger. Quentin always looks so calm when he's playing the game, no wasted motion or anything like that. Actually, at this point, with him looking down 2 creatures already, he's got to consider his options at what he's going to do at this point. Just passing the turn back. One of the problems, if he doesn't draw Pillar of Flame or Devil's Play early on, he really ends up in a lot of trouble against these sort of aggro decks.
So the swing means there's no more Knights of Infamy's coming in, or...
Well, since he's attacking with multiple monsters, that's not going to hurt him too much. That's Gravecrawler coming down for Ben there. And he does hit his 3rd land drop. I was actually in fear a little bit there that he was going to miss his 3rd land drop and we were going to have a bit of a non-entity of a game here. Seems like both games have been kind of like it. The first game was basically, here's what Quentin's deck does, and the second game was, here's what Ben's deck does, and hopefully we can get a bit of a amalgamation of the two going on here. What's
Quentin hoping to dig towards at this point?
If he hits Supreme Verdict here, he does at least clear Ben's side of the board. He makes things a little bit easier for himself, and in fact there is Supreme Verdict. The Gravecrawler will eventually come back, and for that reason Quentin may have sideboarded into Rest in Peace to try and keep Ben's graveyard under control. But here comes Hellrider, and this is pretty much the card that control decks don't want to see, is Hellrider.
So Quentin knows he has to deal with this like straight away now, being at 9 life already.
Indeed, it's like even another haste creature here could spell just complete doom for Quentin at this point. Because he's taking 2 off the Hellrider even before he does anything regards to blocking. And that's Rock's Faithmender from Quentin. That's one of the big sort of sideboard cards against red that we're seeing now. Not only has it got the 5 points of toughness, but it doubles your lifelink, and oh dear, that's a 2nd Hellrider from Ben. So Quentin's going to take 4 before he even gets a chance to block.
He gets to gain 2 back.
Yep, so he takes a net 1 off the combat phase, and that puts him to 4. So things aren't looking great for Quentin here. If he was playing a bank control deck at this point, this would be where you land Thragtusk and gain 10 life and get into at least a decent point of potential safety, but Quentin doesn't have that option at this point. Unless he's going to surprise me and drop something like a Sunpetal Grove here, but I don't think that Quentin's deck's in that sort of mode. Definitely having a bit of a think about what's going on here.
Well, you can't be happy with whatever your decisions are at this point.
Not really. There isn't a huge amount that he can do that can go into his favour here. It's in the olden days, this is where you'd be holding Lightning Helix at this point, and those Hellriders would erupt before they get a chance to attack, and you'd gain 6 life off your Faithmender. If Quentin has a 2nd Faithmender here, he can certainly hold out for a very long period of time. I mean, that would... in fact, at this point, that wouldn't do him much good because he'd just die straight up to the Hellrider triggers. So he's got to find a way to get rid of those Hellriders and still maintain a presence on the board. So it's definitely difficult. He might have Detention Sphere. That would be pretty much perfect at this point if he could get a Detention Sphere out, because he'd take away both of those Hellriders. And He passed the turn immediately, and during Ben's upkeep he thinks he's revelationing for 3 here, but he is gaining 6 life off that Faith Mender. He's drawing 3. That looks like too many cards. Quentin's just drawn that. Oh, never mind. Ben's just top decked another Hell Rider, and Quentin's going to take 9 before he even gets a chance to block, and that's game right there.
Yeah, we actually had a chat to Quentin when we saw the coverage. He didn't actually realise he'd drawn 6 cards by accident. Well, it's not something you do accidentally, but when you gain life, I guess it's something you think about, isn't it? That you draw cards equal to what you gain life when you're playing a card like Sphinx's Revelation, but not with the Rock's Faith Mender out.
No, but Ben decided to just triple Hell Rider him anyway, and it didn't matter. So that is it for this game, and for round 5, Ben Heath moves to 5-0 within striking distance of top 8. We'll have an interview coming up with our 2 participants here, and then we will move on to round 6.